Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by Generals Joe's Reborn.com with me as your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80. For today's episode, I'm joined by the awesome Patrick Notpicard Stewart. In this regular video series, we round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, Pat?
It's the Full Force Weekly.
Yes, it bloomin' well is. How are you doing, my good man?
Doing okay. Has it been a long time since I've actually been on a full episode?
Well, okay, so let's think. Last week we had the incredible breakdown in technical internet failures left, right, and center. So you were on maybe 3/4 of that episode, maybe just over half. You came back in, and then and then before that, obviously, it was 2 weeks, wasn't it? We had a 2-week break.
Yeah, so it's been really like almost a month since I've been actually completely on.
Well, here you are. Hopefully we won't have any issues today.
I had to completely redo the internet in the house, so I hope that it's fine.
Oh, me too, mate. That sucks though, doesn't it? Really sucks. We're having internet issues at the HQ as well, and so I just haven't been able to do any streaming because it just is too glitchy and too rubbish. So I end up having to find alternate methods, and that's why, well, we're working. That's the main thing. This is working. Hello to everyone in the chat. There's loads of you already on today. Great to see everyone. I hope everyone's having a great weekend. Happy morning, cheese bags. Hello, Mom, as well. Mom's on the show.
I'm saying hello as well.
Hi, Mum and Dad, and everyone watching. And everyone watching, I hope everyone's having a great weekend. Lots to get through this week. It's what, mate, I'm telling you, yesterday, like, we had a decent amount of things to talk about, and then yesterday happened, and it was just like, I just had so much work. I've just been literally working constantly until this moment to get everything ready. So I guess without further ado, we'll get into the first news item, which is actually in a little Atomic Arcade game news. So far, we've had Studio GM Amos Kirshen, Art Director Josh Nitze, and now Senior Narrative Designer Brandon Jerwer talking about the upcoming AAA Snake Eyes video game in an interview on the company's website. Brandon discussed his professional background in writing and in games in the interview and briefly covered the game itself. Not too many spoilers were given away, but when asked about his inspiration for the story in the game, he had this to say. There was a story in place when I got here. It's evolved in many ways, but it was a strong foundation to start with. When Ames, G.I. Joe Snake Eyes creative director, explained it the first time, I thought he was pranking me. There were more than a few ideas and characters that came from my writing in the comics. It was really validating and a very pleasant surprise because I wasn't expecting that at all. But what I really loved was how they imagined a version of G.I. Joe that embraces so many different aspects of the brand. Not just my stuff, not just one particular comic or movie or cartoon. Everything is fair game for inspiration. I think the fans who really know the franchise are going to be shocked when they see all of the toys we're playing with here, but don't worry, they'll still be the characters that you know and love. As well as delving into his love for the comics and Larry Hama, Brandon also discussed some of the things he is most excited about in the game. My favourite thing about this game is our shared and openly stated commitment to making a great piece of G.I. Joe media. I don't think I have to convince anyone that I'm a true believer in G.I. Joe, but I'll happily vouch for every person working on this project. We're not just trying to make a good game, we're trying to make the most exciting and fully realised embodiment of G.I. Joe that the world has ever seen. All very positive stuff, and like I have said before regarding these interviews, they're all saying the right things. I'm very excited to hear anything about the game, but I desperately want to know more details about the story, gameplay, and at the very least see some artwork for the project. It still feels a ways off right now, but we will report on any stories that emerge from the game, and we will be trying to get some of the people behind it on the show closer to release for an interview. I will reiterate that a lot is being said in these interviews that make me very positive for a really decent G.I. Joe game, but it's not like all this hasn't been said before in other G.I. Joe media promo build-ups. I will be happier when I see actual images and gameplay, but I think we will be waiting a little longer for that. The game development proper started in January of 2022, so we do at least have over a year of progress, but these projects can take up to 4 or 5 years to ensure you have a top level product. I doubt they will be dragging this one out for that long, so hopefully we can level up with this next game, yeah? Yeah, Pat, level up. Idiot. Right, yeah, that was the longest video of all time, and I didn't do that on purpose. It's just a lot to get into. Now, Brandon Jerwer, obviously, deep in the game with G.I. Joe. He's written on the brand before, and now he's on this game. And I will say that I'm hearing a lot of positive things, obviously, which you expect to hear. But is it exciting you, or are you feeling like this is just one of those things where this always has to happen in the lead up to these kind of things?
No, I'm getting really excited for this game, and largely that's because of the fact that it's really feeling like this is way more than just an app game like we talked about before.
Pat's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
thanks, Talking Joe.
it applies to video games too.
Exactly.
But yeah, the thing that I always get frustrated with is whenever things that I love are revealed for a larger audience and they are completely different than or have departed from what the initial appeal is. Like whenever the Snake Eyes movie comes out and it's just not a very good movie and a lot of people see it and they go, "Oh, that's the thing you like?" And it just doesn't feel right.
I felt like that when Rise of Cobra happened as well.
Me too.
And I didn't want to sit, like, when I would say like the G.I. Joe fan, they would go, "What, the movie?" I'm like, hang on, the 1980 whatever movie, yeah. Sorry, I had to get this Yorktown Joe comment in there. Pat now with swivel arm Wi-Fi. I love that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hopefully it stays. Hopefully it's with stay on Wi-Fi. Snap on stay on Wi-Fi.
If Naked HD pops up, Pat's internet is all sorted. That's very true, actually, Shark Eyes. Very true. Sorry, I just had to get some of those in there with making me laugh. Yeah, I agree on that one, Pat. I think I feel excited about this as well. I feel like even though the right things are being said, which you'd expect, there's some very interesting things coming out of this. Like, I would actually be interested to speak to Ames Kirshen, the GM on the whole thing, just to see what his take was going into hiring Brandon, because I wonder if Brandon was high on his priority list based on the story that he wanted to make, because it sounded like he came to Brandon and Brandon was like, "Are you pranking me? This is all stuff that I've contributed, or I've done, use those certain characters and that kind of stuff." So it'd be interesting to kind of hear their takes on that as well.
Yeah, and that's where it sounds like that this is shaping up to be something where we're all kind of a little bit behind the curtain on a smaller, like tighter core group of fans of G.I. Joe, and once that curtain gets open for a larger audience, I'm hoping that everybody sees something that we've enjoyed that is accurate to what we've enjoyed. And this really sounds like this is going to be something that the people I play video games with who may not be G.I. Joe fans, that if they were to pick it up, they would go, "Oh, this is really cool, and I understand what you're into."
I get it now.
And maybe it could be actually accurate to G.I. Joe.
What? Because he mentioned in there that you'll be surprised with some of the toys they're playing with. I imagine the characters they're using and the vehicles and so on and so forth. What would surprise you in terms of character use? Because when they said that, I always go to things like Downtown, Raptor, that kind of stuff. Ice Cream Soldier would surprise me. Sergeant Savage. That's what would surprise me. But then what would surprise the general populace? Would it just be like, Footloose? or airtight, that
Well,
kind of thing.
yeah, that is true. You could end up with some of that stuff surprising the general populace, but I think that if Brandon Jerwa is saying it, that's not what he's talking about. He's
Yeah.
actually talking about some more, things that are going to feel obscure to him are not going to be on the level of characters that appeared repeatedly in Sunbow.
Yeah.
He's gonna be talking about actual some things that are actually obscure. And one of the things that I kind of, where my mind kind of goes, is sometimes when you're watching movies based on properties and they're trying to make things up. They make up new things sometimes in some of the Michael Bay Transformers movies, but then they ended up being so similar to stuff they could have just used that
Yeah.
already existed. I think that's where you have an advantage of having somebody like Brandon Jerwa around, because he's going to know those things that you could just use, and the fans are going to love it, and it just fits with whatever the story is that you're doing. So you could end
Absolutely.
up with things like the Mudbuster, or like
Lightfoot.
Lightfoot for sure. Yeah, Lightfoot for sure.
That would be freaking amazing. I feel like I've shouted his name enough over the years doing this show that at some point somebody important's going to hear it and they're going to put it into something. I just think if I shout loud enough, eventually it will be heard.
Yeah, Lightfoot's definitely been under visited over the years.
Not on this show, he hasn't. Not on this.
That's true.
I think Lightfoot is mentioned on every video I've ever made for the Full Force podcast. Anyway, Captain K says we call our coffee Mudbuster. Nice. I hope that's in relation to the G.I. Joe Mudbuster. But anyway, awesome stuff. Yes, cool. Okay, well, that's Atomic Arcade and Brandon Joa. And all three of those interviews are linked in the description below. So if you want to check them out and hear all the positive things that they're all saying about this game, then you can go ahead and do so. Right then, that is Atomic Arcade. Next up, then, we have even more SuperSeven news, Pat, to get stuck into. Are you excited?
Yeah.
On Thursday, BBTS dropped a ton of new SuperSeven reaction listings. We got a new Tiger Force green shirt, described as goggles down brown Tiger Force version. Now, during our last interview with Brian Flynn at SuperSeven, he told us that there was one listing that hadn't been revealed for Tiger Force yet, and I can confirm that this is not what he was referring to. Yes, this is a brand new Army Builder variant, and we can indeed still expect to see another Tiger Force character joining the reaction line soon. As well as that, BBTS also posted a Cobra Commander Funhouse robot, no doubt from the Funhouse Sunbow episode. Barbecue, Buzzer, a Joe Pilot face mask figure, General Hawk, and the Crimson Guard. All pretty self-explanatory with the exception of the Joe Pilot, who sounds like a generic army builder as well. Now, it's safe to assume that we will be seeing the SuperSeven official reveal of these figures very soon, as well as images, so all will be revealed. You can pre-order all of them on the BBTS website right now, link in the description. Including this leak, we also got an official reveal of the artwork for their upcoming Python Patrol Cobra Commander reaction figure, and my goodness does he look good. Not confirmed yet, but it looks like the wonderful work of Jason Edmiston and gives us a very good look at the new reaction Python Patrol deco for old Chrome Dome himself. The listings for Cobra Commander, Baroness, Destro and the Bat leaked some time ago, and Brian Flynn also filled us into some other details regarding this and the Joe Tiger Force subteam, consisting of Duke, Scarlet, Snake Eyes, a very recently leaked Tiger Force green shirt, and a further figure who is yet to be revealed. I'm loving this deco and design as it stays very close to the vintage styling and really works on this version of Cobra Commander. Cannot wait to see the rest, and I would imagine it won't be long until we do. Yeah, so lots to get stuck into here, lots to unpack. Diana says, goggles down brown was my nickname in high school. Amazing. That's a good one. I like that. Ray Murphy has said, hello, Ray. Did you ever show Lenny that Lightfoot custom, the possibilities? I have actually shown him that, Ray, and he loved it. He thought it was awesome. So hopefully that's the seed in the designer's mind right there to get it going. So let's get on to SuperSeven then. Leaked listings first and foremost. Pat, Funhouse Robot Cobra Commander. That is, again, probably self-explanatory actually, but that is probably going to be that one with that looks like an action figure, effectively looks like the actual Cobra Commander action figure in the Sunbow cartoon.
Yeah, with the screws. Well, screws it like in his elbow and in his shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah. It just kind of, it reminds me of, effectively they've just put like an O-ring figure in the cartoon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the straight arm one, but with the rivet on the side more instead of on the front. That's really the only difference. Do you think that the reaction figure is going to have new arms, or will they just paint in those details?
I would imagine they'll probably, well, I don't know actually. They might, well, this is the thing. From when it comes to reaction, they tend to remold things all the time. Like where you think they don't necessarily need to, like where they could just do a deco on a basic body, they tend to just remold everything. So I've got a feeling that we'll see a new kind of base body figure that they'll only use it once, that will have like those like detailed kind of cuts and stuff in them.
In the knees as well, right?
Yeah. I definitely probably have to say that I think it will be that way. Yeah. And I wouldn't, honestly, either way, I wouldn't really be that first. I think it probably works both ways, doesn't it? Really, just using the Cobra Commander figure and drawing those lines and details on. Yeah. Barbecue, would you like to see an unmasked one? Because sometimes they'll do an unmasked one and then they'll do the masked one later. Sometimes we'll get slightly different, like SDCC versions of them and stuff. What would you like to see with Barbecue?
An unmasked one, I think that would make a lot of sense to me, just to make something that's a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with that Barbecue figure and Buzzer as well. All the classic Sunbow characters being kind of brought in. So there's still loads of them to do, which is mind-boggling when you think about how many reaction figures are out. The Joe Pilot, probably a generic Joe Pilot, I would imagine, that you could probably army build. There's been so many instances where in the cartoon where you've seen specifically like, troops that are just generic troops. I don't remember or recall a pilot specifically. So on that one, I don't know what we're going to see really, unless people have got some images to send me. If you've been trawling the Sunbow cartoon, because I haven't been able to find anything in the few days that this has been out.
Yeah, I don't remember any particular appearance of a pilot. I need to comb through all the Sunbow stuff again at some point and pull that stuff out. That's what I need to do, is just sit down and watch each episode, taking screenshots the entire time of everything.
Every single thing that comes up, yeah. Every quirky, weird moment, take a screenshot of it. Yeah, totally. Big time. General Hawk, probably the V2 one, I would imagine, because he was very much known in the Sunbow cartoon to be that version 2, wasn't he?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I don't think that we would get the version 1 unless they went back and did like the baseball cap commercial General Hawk, which would be awesome.
Yes, and he was in the comic as well, wasn't he? They could do a comic version. That's something I hadn't thought of either.
Yeah, way too obscure though. I think that we'll just get the one that everybody recognizes from cartoon.
Yeah, Crimson Guard, pretty self-explanatory. But would you like to see? Well, actually, do you think we'll see like a Fred down the road as a Crimson Guard, just with the head exposed?
Maybe. I would like to see a Professor Apple. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, big time. In fact, there's a ton of Crimson. Then you've got like you could do like Crimson Guard disguise Joes that are wearing Crimson Guard. I can't remember if that's happened in the cartoon, but I'm pretty certain it's happened in the comic.
Yeah, I can't remember a specific instance, but I'm way behind on the comics. So
yeah, that's something that you'll just have to let us know in the comments, guys, as well. But anyway, yes, very cool. Rachel says, I picked up Raven and Red Laser at GameStop last week. Wicked. Yeah, a lot of people talking about GameStop and Raven and seeing a lot of those figures in there. Brilliant.
I'm going to have to stop by GameStop because I haven't seen a Raven available yet.
No, I haven't seen Raven about, actually.
No.
This good bit of information. Yes, Brian Flynn did a live interview last night. He said Ultimates Wave 2 unpainted faces was a mistake at factory. Wave 3 will be painted. No Joe Ultimates vehicle in the works. I did hear that, actually. But so thank you for that, because that's something we can add right now. Yes, so in that interview, so that's some very important elements here. Mistake at the factory, which probably means, I'm not sure if you mentioned it in the interview, but would probably mean they'll try and rectify that down the road for those figures. I imagine we'll probably get, they did like a Panthro thing, didn't they, where there was an error and they sent out heads and a waist piece for an Ultimates Panthro. So I wonder if they'll do the same for the heads on Jay and Flint.
Wow, I don't know. I mean, how did they handle that for Panthro? Did you have to order directly through them?
No, there was no ordering. It was, oh, I see what you mean. No, I think they just sent them out to people that had the figure. So I don't know how it was. It probably would have just been straight the ones that ordered off SuperSeven.
Yeah.
And then if you ordered it from like BBTS or somewhere else, maybe you had to like send some proof in or whatever, or email them. I don't know. I don't actually know how that was handled in the end. I just know that they sent them out, I think, for free to people that ordered on SuperSeven website.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they could even just include those as a pre-order bonus, like they did the accessories in the future.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, that is a good point, and that would go somewhere to kind of try and rectify it. Yeah, but at least, like, you know, he's talking about it, and it was a mistake at the factory level. And sometimes those things are out of your hand, out of your hands when you're in a different country and you're not aware of that going on at the time. And also an issue when you don't have someone on the ground out there that is acting as a, you know, like a knowledgeable
liaison.
Thank you. But Wave 3 will be painted, so at least we know that's going to be happening. No Joe Ultimates vehicle in the works. I kind of gauge that from our talk with him, where he was saying like it was just a situation where, you know, it's a bit too like difficult to justify, shall we say, unless they start seeing the sales to warrant doing something like a Thunder Tank for the Joes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm fine not getting a vehicle, to be honest.
Yeah, but thanks for that, Slave. I appreciate that very much so, for putting that in writing, because I didn't add it to this, and I should have done. But I'm tired, and these things happen. Anyway, that's that. And then, of course, we've got this new Tiger Force green shirt as well, with goggles down. I guess there's going to be variants of this one, possibly. And it's a Tiger Force figure, but it's not the one that Brian was talking about when he said there was another one that's going to blow people's minds. Do not worry. There is another character that we haven't seen any information for yet that will be included, in this lineup. So this is what we have so far for Python Patrol, Cobra Commander, Destro, Baroness, and the Bat. And for Tiger Force, we have Snake Eyes, Scarlet, Duke, and the green shirt. And then this other character that we don't know yet. We will know shortly and soon, though, fingers crossed. And that leads us on to this, obviously, talking about Python Patrol, Cobra Commander. Pat, how beautiful is that deco?
Yeah, it is nice. This is about what I kind of had pictured. You know, just using the kind of established Python Patrol patterns that exist. Do you think that his gloves and helmet are gold or yellow?
Mustard is what I'm going to go with.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's a mustardy yellow, and it'll probably be matte. I would imagine it'll be kind of like a matte finish, not very shiny or glossy. The helmet might be glossy, but I can't see the gloves being it. I think what we're seeing there is probably quite reminiscent of what we'll see in the figure.
Yeah, I would assume so as well.
It might be shiny. They might go like, you know, make them a little bit more kind of premium because they're a different sub team and everything. But I do love the fact that I love they've gone with the Televiper, I want to say, kind of style, with the all grey with the silver kind of pattern, and then the yellow, and then obviously red for all the other bits like the belt and the pistol and the Cobra sigil and the little buttons and everything. It's really, really nice stuff. And I believe this is Jason Edmiston. It looks just like the work he's been doing on the line. And I must admit, I love the background they're on as well, the snake skin.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah,
you know, I'm so focused on Cobra Commander, I'm not really looking at the background.
It's just nice to see them do something kind of interesting as well with the explosion too. very reminiscent of the vintage kind of style too. So it's, yeah, I'm really into this. I can't wait to see the rest. Obviously, we've got Destro, Baroness, and the Bat, but then the Tiger Force ones, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what they've done with those figures too. JG Peak says, can't wait to see gold head on the PP Destro. I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? They probably would go with.
That's actually what I'm curious about, and part of the reason why I'm mentioning the gold here, because on the that Toys R Us set of Python Patrol, instead of yellow, they used gold.
Yes.
So they could just generally use some of those colors as well and kind of mix between the vintage style and that gold, and then just use the gold on Destro's head.
Destro would make sense actually with that later vehicle style with the black, because he's black already. You put the red, the kind of maroon red stripe pattern on, and then you give him the gold head, and he's that entire deco, isn't he? Pretty much.
Yeah, that is true. I'm really curious. I don't know why. I think that it's the fact that, I don't know. It is a little weird that I'm more interested to see Destro than any of the others, to see what they do with the head. Like I kind of don't expect it to just be a silver head Destro with, no. I mean, because Cobra Commander here does have the silver mask, which is in keeping with a standard Cobra Commander. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it will just be a silver head Destro, but I just don't imagine that being the case.
No, there is. I mean, there's precedent for Destro to have a different color helmet as well, isn't there? They're like,
Grenadier.
And technically, there's precedent for Cobra Commander to have a different color faceplate if you take into consideration version 4. Yeah. So yeah. So like yeah. Let's just get super nerdy on this show, Pat. Let's get deep and nerdy on this show, because we never really do. JG Peak 26, thanks for the comment. And yeah, we're looking forward to that one too. I'm intrigued to know what they're going to go with. Like if they're going to do the Bat Python Patrol design that the classified figure has, or if they're going to do something completely different, or are they going to do for Baroness? Are they going to, is the hierarchy going to have a similar mainly grey, mainly gold, and then the kind of subordinates in, like, you know, the Bat, any other characters that might come out, are they going to have more of a different uniform? Like, it's interesting to see what they're going to go with, and I can't wait to see them. Okay, I think that's it for SuperSeven. I don't think I've got anything else on that. Can you just double check, Pat, on the slideshow?
That is it. Yep, that is it.
Brilliant. Okay, right then. Next up, then, peeps. I like that I can cheat now by just asking you where we're at. Let's get stuck into a bit of HIYA news. We have double the HIYA news this week, as they revealed a brand new image of their upcoming Exquisite mini-series 4-inch Storm Shadow and announced a brand new character joining the line, Beachhead. With Snake Eyes already showing up and Storm Shadow shipping soon, they explained that the new Storm Shadow figure would have the left arm tattoo sleeve that wasn't shown in the first set of product images. The tattoo is a callback to the website artwork version of the character, which we never ended up seeing in classified action figure form due to the line design change towards a more vintage styling. We also have images of the new packaging, for Snake Eyes at least, courtesy of Thirds Novoa Estrada. The figures will be on vintage style carded bubbles with the classified style website artwork. As well as that, HIYA revealed the next figure in the Exquisite mini line as the Joe's Ranger, Beachhead. They dropped a number of product images in a dio scene and on a white background that clearly show that the figure is based on the classified concept and leans even more towards the original design and deco that appears on the back of the classified card backs, with the additional grey deco hits on the arms and balaclava. He comes with his classic backpack crossbow that likely attaches to the backpack in much the same way as the classified figure, his classified style rifle, alternate hands, the same dio piece connectable figure stand, knife, pistol, and his removable beret made famous by the classified release. It will be interesting to see who comes next, considering we never usually got over the core character hump, and they also do seem to be revealing figures on a regular basis. So far we have had the obligatory Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow and Cobra Commander, but now we have a slight curveball with Beachhead, and it makes me wonder who they will choose from the classified series of designs next. If you look at the artwork on the older boxes, there are a few differences in some of the designs, like the Baroness with that purple hair. It will be interesting to see this line progress, and they could even give us some brand new designs for characters who haven't been done in the classified series yet as well. That might be a ways off at this stage, however, but we shall see. Beachhead is slated for a Q4 2023 release for $24.99. Yeah, so again, lots to get stuck into here with HIYA. We used to, I can't remember who it was in the comments, but we always used to get someone say, any HIYA Toys news for like the longest time from when they announced that they were getting the G.I. Joe license to when we first got that Snake Eyes reveal. And it was probably like a year and something, wasn't it? It was year and change or something that I think was in the middle. So we had a year and change of that comment coming through. And now all it is HIYA Toys news. My goodness, they have just been churning it out. I didn't expect this actually, Pat. I will be honest. I expected Snake Eyes and then a Storm Shadow. And then next year, I expected like Duke and a Cobra Commander. And then next year, I expect, so I wasn't expecting like so much actually to start kind of like getting in and they're already kind of feel like getting into a bit of a rhythm because Snake Eyes is already like getting out to people, which is crazy.
Well, it does feel like if they're going to keep doing reveals, they better get something in hand. So I was happy to see somebody actually has Snake Eyes.
Yeah, so let's have a look. Well, let's talk about Storm Shadow first, because this was a very interesting addition, and it took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting it, and quite pleasantly surprised actually that they went and did it. And they've put the tattoo on his left arm in much the same way that the website, we call it the website artwork as Storm Shadow, but it's effectively like the evergreen design, isn't it? Before they changed the design kind of focus.
Yeah, we can, pretty much tell that this was the initial classified design and that it's appeared in several places. Wasn't it in that sticker set as well, or was Storm Shadow not in that sticker set?
It's been in all sorts. It was technically the design was in Operation Blackout, sans the tattoo, but the website had multiple. Instagram post had one where he's doing a pose kind of like this, and then you can see the tattoo on his arm. Evergreen to never seen, says Head the Straight Edge. Brilliant. Love that. Great comment. Great comment. I believe it was like the kind of the standard designs for everything that were going forward. We saw this figure effectively with the Titan scale, and we saw it in something else, and we saw elements of it. Funnily enough, I think in the Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, like especially in like some of the design, like the lower legs and stuff like that. There's like a mixture of like the Arctic Storm Shadow and the Titan figure. And then you get this website version, basically.
Well, is the bandolier that ended up coming out on Storm Shadow the same? I could swear that you could tell that the throwing stars with the 3 points on it is the same as what ended up on the actual figure. Like that's the one element of the entire thing that didn't change.
On the Arctic Mission one?
No, on the standard release Storm Shadow. I thought that
the one that came out later, the one when they changed design tack to try and
that you could tell that was actually the one thing that was the same.
Maybe I can't even
throwing
think.
Stars and the bandolier, I'm pretty sure are the same.
I did an unboxing very recently about it, and I cannot remember for the life of me what it looked like.
Maybe not, because it looks like the curve on these ones is opposite of what is on that figure. So maybe not.
Okay. Well, yeah. So anyway, this is the Storm Shadow that we're getting. I like the fact they've gone and done this. There's the website version as well. I thought we'd do like a little kind of comparison so we can kind of see. And they've stuck really close to this design. And I tell you what, I think at the time there was a bit of controversy because people were didn't like the Bane style, or they found it difficult to get over the fact there was a kind of Bane style mask situation going on. But I quite liked the design of Storm Shadow, and I was really intrigued to see this in classified form, and it just never came. And then another year went by, and we only had the one Storm Shadow, and then another year went by, and we still only had the one Storm Shadow, and then they completely changed any kind of design direction, and we didn't really get this one in classified, which is I don't know. I kind of feel a little bit of regret about that we never saw that one in classified. But the fact we're getting it for this kind of, it's almost like, you know, at least it gets out there. Are you happy that this design is actually getting an action figure?
To be honest, I think I was happier whenever it didn't have the tattoos. I kind of think that the key thing for Storm Shadow, like the cool story point for me anyway, is that tattoo that's on his right arm, and having an entire sleeve of tattoos just really downplays the one on his arm. Like if Stalker were to see him take off his gauntlet to help Snake Eyes and see that tattoo, you probably wouldn't think anything of it with him having so many tattoos.
That's true. It wouldn't be noticeable, would it?
Yeah, it just wouldn't really matter. So I'm just not a big fan of Storm Shadow having. I just don't like the idea at all, personally. But you know, the fact that it exists as an idea that almost happened, and for the frequency that the image did make it out of Hasbro, it does stand as one of those interesting moments in time. And I just hope that it doesn't become a mainstay in any way, that there's not any sort of, you know, this is Storm Shadow moving forward, because I'm not a fan.
I don't think we'll. I think this will be the one and only time we see this in this action figure form. Honestly, I doubt they'll go back and do anything for classified unless there's some sort of, I don't know, like a what would you, like an anniversary or something, and they do something like a throwback to like some of the early things in the future. But I probably would expect this to be the one and only time we see this particular design for Storm Shadow. I'm kind of, for me, I feel like it's like I'm happy that it's happened. It's like, you know, when, you know, we look at like vintage stuff unreleased, or for example, just off the top of my head, like something like Ninja Commandos, for example. And then, you know, like the dream for me would be if Hasbro continued doing O-Ring, that we would get some sort of Ninja Commando kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like an homage, or like a one figure, or whatever it may be, but something that would like, you know, almost officially bring that character, that figure, that thing to life. And that is a poor example, because obviously there are a lot of Ninja Commandos that exist. Not loads and loads, but there's enough in the collector community that can afford it, that exists. But what I mean is something that didn't quite make it officially to be, you know, given life, should we say. So I feel like this is one of those scenarios for me, but just in a present rather than a past scenario.
Yeah, and there's a fair comparison there, because you also wouldn't want Flint and Road Pig to be permanently considered ninjas either.
You know, I would. Like, I'm just kidding. It's hilarious that they're in there. I was trying to think the other day of who would be worse characters to put in the Ninja Force. You know, like as in just not ninjas in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, I haven't even given that any thought. Like, who'd be the worst character to
Downtown Sub-Zero.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost does feel worse to take Flint, who's a major character, and to turn him into a ninja.
Flinger.
But maybe he's a ninja commando, which is something entirely different.
He's more commando, and he just carries a sword. That's the only difference. Ninja Force Lightfoot, says Pastor Pro. Yeah, you're talking my language, mate. Definitely. Then we also got we got the packaging as well. Now, the packaging kind of showed up in the background of that last image we were talking about, but it was hard to see. Ninja Force Tripwire, that's a good one. Because he's clumsy as heck as well. Ninja Force Lifeline, Ninja Force Bazooka. Actually, guys, these are some good shouts.
Ninja Force Bazooka would be pretty bad for as clumsy as he is.
Ninja Force Shipwreck. Oh, they'd be so bad. It would be great. His weapons would be two anchor ninja weapons on ropes. That'd be so dope. Anyway, and his parrot would be. Polly would look like Zartan with a mohawk and everything. Okay. Ninja Force Deep Six, Ninja Force Toll Booth. Guys, these are all too good. Can you stop, please? These are all too good. Sub-Zero is already a ninja. Mortal Kombat. Thank you, Figure Six Pack. That's a good point. Ninja Force Heavy Duty. This is going to happen all day now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love it. Keep them coming. Forget it. I just keep them coming, guys. They're hilarious. I'll keep shouting them out every now and again. Packaging. A very Big brawler, brilliant. A very generic version of like a vintage aesthetic here. You've got like an all-white logo with the name underneath it, and then you've got the classified artwork on that kind of new school. I call it like the kind of current Hasbro retro explosions.
Yeah, it's really a blend of the vintage style and the classified series style, which is interesting that they probably had to make this up in the midst of there not being open packaging and all the changes that have actually happened to the classified series package. Curious, did he show the back of the package?
I haven't seen an image of the back of the package. They may have posted one, but at the time, the poster, I said the name in the. I'll get the name up. Sorry for being respectful. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Sorry, I'm so tired. I can't even focus on anything. It was posted by Ferds Novoa Estrada, and they were going. I think they were going on holiday or something, and they wanted to take a quick couple of pictures. So I'm not sure if a reverse image was taken of the file card, the back of the card. I don't know if there's a file card on it, Ray. Sorry.
Right. I'm curious if there is a file card, if there's any sort of even in shape of one. They could just even have just images or something in the back instead of writing.
Christoph makes a good point here that it needs the white border. Yeah, I think ever since the retro figures and the O-ring figures not having that and then actually having it return, I think anything that's homaging this particular style probably needs that border, doesn't it? Because it just looks really flimsy. It just feels like it just disappears into the ether.
Yeah, it is weird looking at. I don't know why, but it is true that it does need the white border. Otherwise, it just doesn't look right.
It's weird, isn't it? Anyway, I love the fact that I think that's Scott Johnson artwork as well for that Snake Eyes, because he did a lot of the website stuff. And another thing I'll point out here, Pat, is they said that the figure does look a little bit taller than the kind of classic 4-inch figures. What do you think about that? Do you think that going to affect you wanting these figures at all?
That surprises me. Didn't we think that they were going to be shorter than they were?
Well, they say 4.1 inches, but looking at this one, this actual image of Snake Eyes, you can see he's put it like in line, so they're in the same horizontal line. And you can see that where their feet, he's put like a little block there as well, so you can see them right next to each other. And it does look like Snake Eyes is creeping above Storm Shadow to quite a little bit there.
I would say a significant amount, but that's really hard to gauge whenever you're dealing with photography, because even if you put them at the same height, if the image is angled just a little bit, it's still going to end up looking much different. But for the fact that he's like looking at their shoulders, that's almost like
it's a quarter of an inch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a significant amount. But I mean, you're dealing with a subset of figures. It's probably not going to prevent me from buying them anyway.
Yeah. Just checking. Ninja Force Gung Ho. I like that one, Jeremy. What else?
I wish that there was an easy way of getting these where I didn't have to pay $20 and $30 in shipping a pop.
Oh God, yeah, that's the other point, isn't it? So obviously
that's the problem.
Asian market only. So you're only looking at places like Robot Kingdom and stuff like that to try and get these. And yeah, you do end up getting a little bit kind of stung on shipping, which is a shame. Maybe they'll make their way out eventually. Maybe eventually they'll be in the US somehow and globally as well.
Probably right after I pay, $50 a figure. They'll show up on BBTS.
I asked them early on. I sent a message to the website, to the company, an email to the company, and they responded, to their credit, asking if they would actually be selling outside of Asia at any point. And they said, keep an eye on Diamond distribution. So there's a possibility maybe in the future that Diamond might be a way to get these figures elsewhere. But we'll have to see on that one. Anyway, Ninja Force skid mark, brilliant. We don't know if there are file cards on the back, Ray. I haven't seen the back just yet. Cool. So I was just seeing if there are any more Ninja Force characters popping around here. No, not at the moment. Brilliant. Yeah, so interesting one that. Anyway, moving on. Beachhead reveal. This one is right off, not just the design of the classified Beachhead, Pat, but the design of the original concept of Beachhead. What do you think of this little beauty?
I've said before that Beachhead's one of my favorite figures in the classified line. So seeing this one pop up instead of just cycling through the core characters is a welcome change. I think that this makes the whole thing a little promising. The fact that they are going with there's good and a bit of a danger with them going with the early classified series designs. It's that I'm glad that ones like this, especially, I'm glad that we are getting a 4-inch-ish, I guess, classified series Beachhead, but eventually they're going to run out of some of the early classified series designs.
Yeah.
And that's not going to take long.
Well, if you think about it, like what Duke, Roadblock, Scarlet, and is that it? Major Blood?
Cobra Trooper. They haven't done a Cobra Trooper.
Viper.
Right.
Flint.
Even if we've seen that other Alley Viper in the back of the package, right?
Yes, Flint J, Alley Viper, definitely. That first Gung Ho.
Yeah.
And okay, cool, yeah.
I think there are a few.
There's a few, yeah, but you're right though. You get to that point where like, and obviously the Baroness with purple hair, maybe.
Yeah, I would want to see that. Yeah, no, I don't think that's a stretch. I think that one's a sure thing. We'll get it. They're going to do a Baroness, and to keep in with what they're doing so far, she should definitely have the purple hair.
Yeah. Lady J probably, yeah. The Red Ninja is a good shout, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Good shout. Good shout. Because the rest of them, like they can be done, but they end up not being in keeping with the design again, because it goes back to like the kind of standard, not standard, the kind of vintage styling.
I would imagine that they will do that, though. That they probably will just continue on with those figures on a smaller scale. So that'll be fine. I think people will be happy with that.
It would be like, if you imagine it like you kind of, so like the Battleandra Trooper, for example, you know, it's gone from like your kind of 25th bat to your classified bat, then back to effectively the 25th, but in the higher build, if you know what I mean. So it does that. At least when it goes back to higher, when they're doing these newish things, it's not going backwards again to something that's already sort of available, if you know what I mean.
Right. Well, you don't think there'd be a possibility if they do that we get the Operation Blackout one?
You see, that again, I wasn't like, I'm not, to be, completely honest, I said this at the time, I wasn't totally enamored with the Operation Blackout bat, but I think it would be cool for them to do it anyway. Sci-fi, I'd love them to do sci-fi the way that sci-fi was done in Operation Blackout.
Yeah, it's Operation Blackout seemed to add some characters to what were planned. We also seem to be getting a peek at some of the plans for classified series, and then some of those didn't quite happen.
Yeah, so Bat's definitely one of those.
Oh, you know what would be cool? That Operation Blackout also had, and this I would like to see this actually. There's inside that concept art stuff. There was the Cobra Island roadblock, but like you had the American flag bandana instead.
Yeah, actually, Cobra Island roadblock would be one that they would do. That probably wouldn't it?
I can see that happening.
Because that again, that's going in the other direction again, rather than going back to what we've already seen.
Right.
Yeah, that's really, it's interesting thinking about what they might do going forward, actually. But yeah, really, really cool. And one other thing I wanted to do is really look at this comparison, because this is something that I noticed at the time and talked about when we had Beachhead in hand. But the fact that the artwork on the back of the package had Beachhead with like this grey lower sleeve, the grey pocket, and the grey mouthpiece on his balaclava. And that's something that obviously didn't translate into the classified figure, as you see here. It's all green. But they've incorporated it into this. So this is why I like what HIYA are doing, because you're getting things that just didn't exist before it kind of coming out.
Yeah, I like these touches of pre-production that are being introduced. As much as I don't like that tattoo on Storm Shadow, it is nice that we are getting some of this stuff realized.
Yeah, really, awesome stuff. Anyway, Beachhead, I'm gonna say it's pretty cool. It comes with lots of all of his usual stuff that I'm at a guess. I imagine the crossbow will fit into the backpack handle, into that like little tab in the bottom, in much the same way that the Cobra Island one does. Obviously comes with his rifle, he comes with alternate hands, the stand, the removable beret, pistol, knife, and all the secondaries that the other figure comes with. It is effectively, if you are a fan of the classified designs, but you're a massive 4-inch collector, I think this is a perfect little line to be kind of getting involved in, if you can actually find them, of course. I know Adam is a massive fan of the HIYA Joes. Shout out to Adam Riches. And is this something that you're happy with at the moment, Pat? Are you happy with this line and where it's going?
You know, Beachhead makes me a little bit happier, because at the price, I was probably going to wait on a lot of them. I probably do want to pick up a sample of somebody early on, but I don't want to be paying $50 a figure just because I'm paying, or probably even closer to $60 a figure.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous, because I everywhere I look, it's like $30 for shipping, and there's no like pile of loot option. So you have to buy them and ship them individually at $30 shipping plus the $25 a figure. And that's going to add up fast.
I wonder, Sky Patrol Tunnel Rat, someone said in the comments, brilliant, Jody. I just talking about ridiculous characters and stupid sub-teams. I love it. Tunnel Rat could be in Sky Patrol because he's in every other sub-team known to humankind.
Talking Battle Commander Snake Eyes.
Yes!
It couldn't make any sense.
It would just be like, you press the button. I think mine's broken. No, he doesn't say anything, mate. That is absolute genius. Mumbling. Be like, what was that? I didn't quite get that.
There have been a few instances where Snake Eyes has just talked in other media where they didn't really pay attention.
He did it in the comic. He did it in Larry Hama's comic. He did it in blooming the Marvel run, where he just said Scarlet.
Yeah. But that was like a major dramatic moment. It wasn't just like, hey guys, blah, 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 which has happened in some more obscure stuff. I've even seen Larry share it and say, this wasn't run by me.
Yeah. But that's what you do for Talking Battle Commanders. Nothing. And then the last button is Scarlet. That's it.
That would just make me sad. Now I'm sad.
Amazing. Okay, anyway, that's genius, by the way, Pat. But as I was saying, Beachhead, awesome, brilliant stuff. Moving on. There we go. Next up, then, actually, we've still got loads to talk about, guys. This is crazy. Let's get stuck into some classified updates next. Earlier in the week, we were able to decipher a number of older Hasbro internal code words, including the following. Dickens is Grunt, Wolf is Lowlight, Fitzgerald is Ripper, Tolkien is Hawk, Plath is Helix, and Hobbs is Buzzer. In addition to those, we were able to work out that the Arctic Bat will be an Amazon exclusive based on the code word FTSY Dickinson, and that Poe and Dahl are both Target exclusives and will be redecos, but we don't know which ones they will be just yet. We recapped a ton of information that we are aware of at this point, and we'll go over some of that again shortly. Now to Target news, and it would appear as though the Python Patrol Crimson Guard has a street date. GIJ, aka 80s Toy Boy on Twitter, posted an image of Target's internal system with the Kerouac internal code word with a June 1st street date. It's very likely that Tiger Force Dusty, aka Shakespeare, will also have the same date, although an image of that listing wasn't posted. I imagine there will be a social post on the day when these go up, or they will drop a live event on the 1st, and seeing as that falls on a Thursday, it could happen, but we will have to wait and see what updates Hasbro feed us until then. As well as that, Rock and Roll just decided to appear in stock on BBTS as well, so if you haven't grabbed him yet, then go nuts, link in the description. Yeah, so we managed to break the news of we deciphered some of the kind of like older code words. This is Pat's favorite subject to talk about, so we'll get stuck right into it. What the Dickens he's saying. Dickens is Grunt, Wolf is Lowlight, Fitzgerald Ripper, Tolkien Hawk, Plath Helix, and Hobbs is Buzzer. So that should hopefully help for those looking for like listings in systems and so on and so forth, knowing what's coming, when it's coming, and even what also this clears up is that these are all standard release kind of like wave figures. So these aren't like deluxes, they're not exclusives, they're not, you know, Target or Amazon or anything like that. When you get the listings like this, that means standard $24.99 classified wave of figures. There's 6 of them, so obviously this might be a full 5 and then an extra that goes in another wave of 5 somewhere else, or it might be a mixture of other waves throughout. But these are definitely names that we know, and you could probably like sometimes it's like if they're close in the numbers, then you know that they're usually together. So it would probably not be beyond the realms of possibility that Dickens, Grunt, Lowlight, Ripper, and Hawk were in the same wave, based on the numbering that they have. But it's not necessarily the case. Trust me, I have studied these listings ever since Classified was born. Pat hates me for it because I'll send him stuff and he'll be like, "Are you kidding me? Are you serious?"
Yeah, I just don't get into these code names at all. They are not fun. And the part of the reason why, I guess I should explain, is that I love going back and seeing and keeping track of the stuff that wasn't produced. And you know, back like in the 2000s New Sculpt era, sometimes it would just be like, you know, Diamond has listed a wave of figures, and you know, this has shown up in this computer or that computer. And you'd be able to keep track of it and then know whenever something didn't come out. And I don't know that they're trying to keep us from knowing what didn't get released as much as they are trying to put a lid on when the information is released. But effectively, it does cover the tracks if something does get canceled. We don't necessarily know what it may be. And that makes me sad.
Well, be happier that we can sometimes work it out. I don't think there's been anything that's happened so far where we haven't got the information eventually. I don't think there's anything that has been like either dropped or not picked up or whatever, or they've changed tack. Because I haven't, like, for example, I never saw a listing for sci-fi. And that was one of those things that we always thought, like with Operation Blackout happening, sci-fi was probably one of those figures that was designed, and then it was on that cusp, wasn't it, of where they were slightly changing how the design of the figures were going to be. And I think maybe he was dropped at an earlier level, and therefore wasn't far along enough to get a code word or in tooling or anything like that. So that's the only one I could think of, really, off the top of my head, that might be one of those ones. But I don't think we ever saw anything for sci-fi. Anyway, that's that.
Yeah, but this requires that digging, whereas just getting that list at some point, that is the thing that I miss.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, brilliant. Next up, now we are doing almost like a little preview of Yojo June. We did it in the video, obviously, last week. But I thought Pat and I could go through some of these things with you guys right now. What we know so far, of course, in name-only reveal, Pat, we are here with General Hawk, Grunt, Tripwire, Quick Kick, Mutton Junkyard, Helix, Ripper, Buzzer, Snow Serpent, Big Boa, and the Mole Rats. Did you like how I ran out of space and had to figure out a way to put a mole rat in there?
And you make it look like Big Boa is pummeling a mole rat. Like he's just destroying him.
It's just like the red mist of blood as he's just punching the crap out. And the mole rat's got a question mark over its head, like, why?
Why is this happening?
Why are you beating me up? What have I done to you? Oh, amazing. Just because I called you the love child of Roboto from Masters of the Universe and Bobby from Dungeons and Dragons didn't mean I should get pummeled into non-existence. Anyway, hilarious. Yeah, so that's what we know in terms of name only. Any of these tickling your fancy parts, Pat?
Yeah, I'm excited to get some Dreadnoks for sure. Some more of those. Buzzer was, I think, the first Dreadnought that I had.
Yeah, same.
Outside of Zartan. So I'm excited for that one. And yeah, excited to see the gear for Ripper. That one could be really interesting to see exactly what that stuff looks like, how much of it moves, what it does, and Mutt. I really want to see Junkyard.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for Junkyard so bad. I mean, Timber was such a win of epic proportions. Like both of those Timber figures are just the most beautiful, articulated dogs, wolves I've ever encountered. And I can just imagine how good Junkyard's going to be, especially when you think about Fiona as well. How amazing they did Fiona. And of course, the anti-tank drone that comes with scrap iron. How beautiful an animal that is as well. So yeah, I think Junkyard's going to be so cool. Do you think Big Boa should come with a kangaroo?
I think that would confuse people. I'm going to go with no, but they should leave that option open later. Or something.
Definitely think they should do a Kangor animal companion set, right? Black helmet, repaint a little bit more, maybe give like this. I know you hate this, but maybe give him like like really crazy tattoos to differentiate him from Big Boa.
No, I think that changing up Kangor would be a welcome thing to do in my mind. It's not like he had specific tattoos that needed to stay in character. No, and he looks so much like Big Boa that I think that changing him up from Big Boa is a good idea.
Rachel wants Snow Serpent to come with a wolf. That'd be pretty dope.
Oh, like the 2002 one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, Kangor would be brilliant. I would. I'm getting a lot of no tats. As people telling me, okay, I'll move away from the tattoo idea. Maybe just some sort of different. I don't know. Make Kangor a little bit different. Definitely.
Give him some different gear. Maybe make some of the stuff an option to have him look like Big Boa, or swap out like a vest or something to make him look different.
I did a Let's Talk Classified Big Boa video as well recently, and in that I proposed, and you might think this is ridiculous, Pat. This is like me running away with and forgetting that we have to cost things, right? So Big Boa as the figure, unmasked head, and I know that's a bit weird, but obviously in the club file card they embellished a little bit about how ugly he was and why he wears the helmet, because he's so ugly. Harsh. But I thought, like, do some real like personality, get some real like awesome, crazy, ugly head sculpt going on, right? Then he'll come with all of like the bits and pieces, like the barbell, the training mask for other people to wear, the jousting sticks, the what else did he come with? The punching bag, right? I'm thinking one of those ones, or this, I didn't say this in the video, but it came to me afterwards. Punching bag that you hang, right, would be kind of cool. And you have it on a scaffold, and the scaffold is one of those workout benches with the bench comes down and you can push a dumbbell, full on barbell kind of scenario. But then you have other things on it, like I said, like hanging a punching bag. So you can, or one of those half body with a head wobbly things that you see people kicking the crap out of in martial arts dojos. Yeah,
that'd be cool. I think that a lot of that stuff, a lot of those things, it would feel like a Dio pack with Big Boa, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Because obviously you've got Meowscles in the Fortnite series where they did that 6-inch figure.
Right.
He comes with a weight bench and weights and everything. And I always thought, how awesome would it be if Big Boa comes with like a full-on gym, effectively? It'd be so awesome. So yeah, I think making him a super mega deluxe character would definitely crank up, because I think he's one of those characters that I think people are a little bit, they're 50-50 on. You either love him or you hate him. He's a bit Marmite-ish, Big Boa. Sorry, that only makes sense to people in the UK usually.
I'm gonna say, for us, that'd be like we've never tried him.
Yes. He's a bit yeast extracty. Yeah?
I guess. You tell me.
This is the best episode we've ever done. But I feel like I get a lot of people saying like, hell no, I hate Big Boa, he's crap. And then other people are like, love him, you think he's brilliant and ridiculous. So like, I think to give him more than just a figure in a standard wave, I think would be beneficial for him as a figure. And then obviously Vegemites are good on as well, yeah. And then as obviously doing Kangor with a kangaroo, the kangaroo is the selling point, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
And give
you'd want to leave out some of that other gym stuff. Some of the gym equipment can be left out from Kangor, and then you
exactly
can kangaroo.
Just strip it down and have little boxing gloves for the kangaroo, and you're done.
I would definitely want a fully articulated kangaroo, though.
100%.
Not like a hollow one that they just sourced from something else.
Yeah, exactly. Like you mean like the original, and then used again for the figure subscription service. I still find it funny that they use the same one for that.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. I would say though, I would definitely want them to do the larger size of a kangaroo to really make the most of that animal companion figure set. You know, like almost like the same height as Big Boa.
Yeah, something that would be a big kangaroo. Yeah, the one that comes with Kangor is way undersized.
It's like a little baby.
It is, yeah.
Joey.
And then on the card art, I think he's even punching it on the card art.
They're fighting on the card art. Amazing. Right. Yeah, so that's that. So that's your name only crew. I've got to say I'm very excited for a lot of these. Snow Serpent, Quick Kick, Helix, Hawk, pretty much all of them, actually, I'm really excited for, because that's just how I'm built. Mole Rats as well. Oh, I can't wait to see what these guys are about. We've had so many interesting little, like, tidbits of information. A new Cobra Trooper, a lot of mining stuff, like unearthing Dark Energon and the kind of narrative surrounding Night Force, and Mole Rats are being, like, affected by this Dark Energon. So there's lots of cool, interesting things that I really want to see what they've done with it design-wise. I think this, because this is new, it's something that they can flex their muscles on. They don't have any pre-existing, like, structure to work with. So this is something I'm very, very excited to see.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. I'm excited about Helix.
Yeah, Helix is going to be dope. What an awesome figure to do in the classified series. Anyway, next up we have the renders that we're aware of. Steel Core. Sorry, a trouble bubble just flew past. Steel Core, Televiper in the trouble bubble, Tunnel Rat, Firefly, Low Light, and Shadow Tracker. Now, we know that Shadow Tracker, thanks to some leaked listings, is a Night Force themed character for the Cobra side. Obviously, we know the Steel Core and Televiper and the Trouble Bubble are going to be kind of like deluxe sets or figure with vehicle sets. And we know that Tunnel Rat, Firefly, and Low Light are standard issue kind of wave figures. We know quite a lot about these already, but we don't know if we're going to see them in the next month. I imagine we'll probably see Steel Core, Televiper, and the Trouble Bubble. And I'm not sure about the rest, because I can't even think off the top of my head what we know is the next wave coming, or if we know what the next wave is coming. I don't think we do. We only have like some listings, don't we?
Yeah, but there's so much that usually comes up in Yojo June that I would think that we're going to get a lot of this stuff on pre-order at least, right?
Well, that's the thing, in it. Like, you expect this, the first name only you expect next month, you expect that to be digital renders. These digital renders you then expect to be physical product that you pre-order. I just don't know if, like, Walmart are going to keep Shadow Tracker for something else a little bit later on.
Okay. Yeah, that is true. The
And I
ones
don't
that
know
are
where
exclusives could be, who knows?
I don't know where Tunnel Rat, Firefly, and Low Light come into play, if you know what I mean,
Right.
in the
Yeah.
structure. But yeah, excited to see all of those. Is there anyone there, Pat, that you're like is your top one?
That is a good question. I would say I really am excited more for Low Light, I think, than others.
He's great.
Yeah, and
So great.
Firefly looks really good. I'm a fan of Firefly. I love the we don't see it right now, but that remote control vehicle that this one's going to come with, I think, is a great touch for the character.
Totally. I cut that out on purpose because I knew you were going to talk about it. Brilliant. Then, of course, we have the leaked images. So we know that, well, now we know that the Crimson Guard, Python Patrol Crimson Guard, is going to be June 1st. I imagine Dusty's probably in a similar boat, but we haven't had any confirmation image-wise from Target's internal system on that. But I'd imagine they'd be out on the 1st of June together. And if so, then I wonder how they're going to roll that out, if they're just going to do like a post on the 1st of June or if the event happens on the 1st of June. I'm not quite sure because we obviously will know closer the time because they'll give us a heads up on when the live event is happening. Are you expecting them to go all out from the first day, Pat?
Not really. I mean, I'm expecting to have the month be a mix again of those smaller videos that they just sort of post, and then their big events, which may not even be live this time. I could see them pre-recording some of the stuff as some of the other brands have done.
Oh, definitely. That seems to be the way they're going with it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, we did work out obviously that the Arctic Bat is an Amazon exclusive based on the FTSY designation on the listing. That's what that means, based on all the other FTSY designations we've had in the past. You can thank Sherlock McLeod for this information. And Dickinson is obviously the name for that one. So I expect that to be revealed in the month at some point as an Amazon exclusive. Cool. Very excited for all of these. That Arctic Bat is phenomenal. I'm so excited to get that in hand. What a great addition they gave, like that bat with the head and the other parts and stuff, just to make it different. I think that's just genius.
Yeah, I want to be careful with what I say because I think that's where I got cut off and booted off the internet last time. What will happen? Maybe Amazon didn't want me discussing something they planned to do a big reveal on, and they just kind of booted me off the internet.
They can't have Naked HD talking about their products. They straight away banhammer immediate. I'm completely ignoring comments at the moment. Sorry, guys. I just forgot you were there for a second. Isn't that awful? So we were getting so into like talking about this stuff sometimes that I just get tunnel vision.
Oh. R Sharp is saying something's fan channel, not Amazon.
Oh, he's fan channel, not Amazon. Are you saying R Sharp? That's interesting. I'll double check on that one, but I'm pretty sure he's Amazon. I will correct if I get other information about that, but that is the information I've been working on for a number of months.
What qualifies as fan channel? That's
I think fan channel on the designation is ADV, I believe.
Okay.
So I will do some more digging and try and work out on that. But that is what we are currently to understand, that is what that is. But unless it's been said elsewhere, I'm pretty certain that that's the scenario that we have on that one. Again, if it is wrong, we will rectify. Or we'll find out, won't we, I guess. Next up then, we have a ton of other listings that kind of crept out. We have Walmart exclusives, obviously Nightforce Shooter, Wes Tennyson, which is a new Joe character, Wes Chekhov, which is a redeco of a current G.I. Joe figure into the Nightforce sub-team, which we don't know just yet what that is. We know Cobra the Zombie Viper, but I believe that was put in quotation marks, so we're not 100% sure what that entails. And the Cobra Alley Viper redeco as well, which I assume is a red and black one. It could be black and yellow, it could be black and blue, it could be any of the metal, that grey colour, it could be any of the Alley Viper decos, or it could be something completely new. What are your thoughts on the Walmart stuff, Pat?
I really like the idea of it being that red and black Alley Viper, because that is honestly, that is one of the best 4-inch GI Joe figures. You can have that look 3 different ways, all straight out of the package. I don't think that they would be packing in. I don't think they can possibly pack in as much as that Pursuit of Cobra figure did. It just came with so many pieces. I'm curious to see Shooter. I'm kind of sad that she didn't end up in just her green in the figure that did get released. It just kind of felt like, well, we got the Shooter repaint, but we never got the standard Shooter in 4-inch form.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if this is going to follow what that figure was, because it almost felt like, since we didn't get her in green, which we did see the art for that, but since we didn't get her in green, maybe it's going to be played that was not the standard color for her, because she appeared in the comic then, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious what all reference material they pulled in to make that figure.
I'm kind of interested to, if they're kind of looking at it as Shooter is in the Night Force team, and therefore she's in black because she's in, that is the thing, and then they probably are doing that because they'd probably want to reuse her, like repaint her mold at some point in the future.
Yeah, that's a good point. So she probably will appear in black, and that's going to be appropriate, but at the same time, I hope we don't go through another round of not getting a standard one.
Lols. What about convention exclusives? An interesting one. Obviously, these listings slipped out a number of months ago. Chuckles is going to be SDCC, we believe, with an armory. I don't know what that entails, but it sounds interesting. And the 3-pack for PulseCon is a Crimson 3-pack, and that's Baroness and the Crimson Twins. I mean, I cannot wait for Chuckles, and I would say that the Crimson 3-pack is something that I've expected ever since the Twins and the Baroness existed.
Yeah, exactly. This feels like a good way of just getting all those out at once. It's nice that it's not just the Twins, that the Baroness is in there with them. It's almost making me think, is there really anything else we're waiting on in regard to Crimson characters? Like
the Viper.
Right. Yeah, the Viper.
That's it, though, I think. So it would be the obviously you've got other versions of the Crimson Guard and the Crimson Guard Immortal, but in terms of like your figures that are repainted to match the Crimson aesthetic, I think Viper is the one that, and again, I'd expect a red Viper at some point, 100%, like in a 5-figure wave, easy.
Yeah, I think so. And spacing it out is good. But I do like kind of getting them out of the way at the same time.
Red Cobra Commander is a good point, actually. Crimson Cobra Commander is something we're still waiting on, aren't we? I would probably use my Snake Supreme because he's a bit cheekier, a bit different. He'd be heading up.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about the Imperial Procession set and how that used the Range Viper head, and maybe we could actually get an update of that character at some point.
We've got a Range Viper, so yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and that would be a way of front loading a little bit of the tooling for the Battle Armor Cobra Commander, but at the same time, I think about what they did with the Snake Supreme Cobra Commander. And I almost would like an Imperial Procession character to just be out of left field and, complementary to Snake Supreme instead of being so similar to that 3 3/4 inch figure.
Definitely. A female Crimson Guard is a good shout, by the way. I like that in the comments. That would be definitely something they could kind of go in that direction with, 100%. Tons of other leak listings, like so many, including what we expect Retro Smurfette, Papa, and Gargamel. We expect them to be Scarlet, Duke, and Cobra Commander. The 60 Tom and Jerry is probably a hint at a 60th anniversary because these are 2024 leak listings. And so that would make a lot of sense. And the Target exclusives was something that wasn't known before, and that's the Poe and Dahl. So Poe and Dahl will be Python Patrol and Tiger Force. We don't know which one's which, and we don't know what, and they're going to be redecos, but we don't know what redecos they're going to be yet. But effectively, Poe and Dahl, throw them together One is a Python Patrol, one is a Tiger Force, and they're both redecos of current figures. Okay. Whew. Busy. And as you can see, there's another Amazon down there, and that's an FTSY designation. So, and there's an ADV ESOP at the top there, and that would be a fan channel designation. As far as I know, I know that goes against what they begin with, but that is what we've noticed in looking at previous listings. So unless they've changed it, or for whatever reason it's different, we will, like I said, we will correct that, and we will make a video about it if necessary. But I will do my due diligence on that R-sharp. But thank you so much for putting that just in case as a possibility in my head, because now that's all I'll think about for the next.
Yeah, no, I think that since it's been FTSY has been consistent, I would guess that it's going to be. I would guess it's going to be Amazon, but you'll probably also have the opportunity to buy those on HASBRO Pulse.
We'll see. Yeah, totally, 100%,
yeah,
definitely. Okay then. Is that the end of that, Pat, or there's more? There is more. I know there's more.
More.
So yeah, street date June 1st for Crimson Guard, as we mentioned. Shout out
Thursday, right?
GIJ. Yes, that's Thursday. Yeah. So shout out to GIJ on that one. I imagine Dusty will also have a street date of June the 1st, but if not, I could also see a bit of a gap between them, because we did see the Crimson Guard first in physically. So I don't know what difference that makes, but it might make a lot of difference. Also, we've another one that was sent to us via 80s Toy Boy on Twitter, GIJ. Thank you very much. Torpedo was found, and some of the other, I think some of the other listings were found in the system for July the 12th. So that is likely when we'll see that wave on shelves. So July 12th is the likely street date for that wave. So thank you very much for that. What else? Oh yeah, this is actually sold out now, apparently. Someone told me in the comments. So it wasn't yesterday, put it that way, when I checked before I put the video right up together. So apologies if it has sold out, but it was in stock. So let's face it, we're probably going to get some. This wave is probably going to start showing up a lot more often. That's all I'll say about that. I think that's it for that segment. We've got one more segment to go. Oh my goodness me. Let's just get into it. It's HasLab, guys. He says, not lined up, ready to press the button yet.
Hasbro posted yet another brand new and fun cryptic HasLab update, this time featuring Storm Shadow, or as they refer to him in the update by one of his internal code words, Agent Jupiter. The narrative is that he is infiltrating Hasbro HQ and stealing information related to the upcoming G.I. Joe classified HasLab. Now they once again hint at that number 24 on the stolen data disk, which does heavily point towards the Dragonfly, and further evidence is found in the text that Storm Shadow delivers on the last image, saying, "Commander, the disruptor device I placed on Hasbro's security cameras has masked my presence from their notice. You are seeing the true feed. I have secured the plans for the collaboration between G.I. Joe and HasLab. Your fears are well founded. This new opponent appears swift and agile with significant firepower, ready to defend against the hiss on all fronts." I'm specifically drawn to the part that says, "This new opponent appears swift and agile with significant firepower, ready to defend against the hiss on all fronts." Now you can read that however you want, but to me, this and all the other clues have pointed towards the Dragonfly, so I will be very surprised if it isn't Wild Bill flying over the horizon when the official reveal is upon us. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting rather excited for next month, and we'll be reporting on as much as we can, as fast as we can.
Yeah, Cryptic HasLab update number 5. Love these. I get really excited. I'm not sure how you feel about it, Pat, because I know, like, in terms of the code words, you're not a fan of. But is this something that you enjoy, or you just want to know?
I've warmed up to them. When that first one came out, it was like, are we really going to use these other code words as in-universe code names? Like, his
not just that. Not just that.
Storm Shadow.
Not just that, but the fact how meta it is, where you've got like Hasbro involved in the universe with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're infiltrating Hasbro about toys, but they're real, and it's the meta. It's so crazy, and I think that's why I like it so much.
Sure, they eventually got to that, but like, my initial reaction, because it's been a month since I've really been on to talk about this, was that it was like, the code words are not a fun thing. So to include those in something intended to get me excited on this thing that's like supposed to appeal to me as an inner child, it might as well be like, hey, coming in from Agent Finish Your Spinach, we have this operation,
Brush your
you
teeth.
can play Nintendo after you do your chores. It's just really cool, and it's like, this isn't working for me. Yeah. Remember to brush your teeth before you go to bed, everybody.
Agent
Like,
Finish Your Spinach is my favorite. That's got to be a character. We've got to make that a character. Full file card. That's a monthly episode, Pat. We're going to come up with new characters. Agent Finish Your Spinach. Unbelievable. He'll have 2 anchor tattoos on his massive forearms, right?
sure, yeah. It's just
And a pint.
it's there. It was too much of a blend of something that I just shake my head at, and I'm not really enjoying. Inserted into this marketing blitz, actually, at this point.
Yeah,
Like they're constantly throwing this stuff at us.
Yeah. This is the 5th in like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cobra hack as well, which is interesting. Obviously, we've had a Cobra hack when it came to the Sky Striker.
Can they say Cobra? It's not going to be like Mayfly hack.
Mayfly was Scarlet, I think. It was Mayfly.
I don't remember. There was a. I think you're right. What was it? There was some sort of bug.
Oh, there was Carpenter Ant and Carpenter
Ant
and Dung Beetle, Tarantula. There were mate. That's the early days of your hatred. That's what grew your hatred for internal code words.
Yeah.
Agent Jupiter, anyway, Pat, is Storm Shadow, if you didn't already know. But anyway, we've had Cobra hacks in the Sky Striker HASLab, and that led to a level that included a Cobra-related tier. Now, with that said, do you think there could possibly be something with this HASLab, which, let's face it, it's probably going to be the Dragonfly, isn't it?
Yes. I don't even want to pretend.
We've got a whole monthly coming out where we kind of like come up with other things that they could do, and the whole time it's like, yeah, but it's going to be the Dragonfly, so this is pointless. Yeah. Anyway, Storm Shadow infiltrating the HQ, stealing this data disk. I do love these, by the way. It's such a fun little thing for them to be doing here. And this is from the Captors of Cobra episode, when Storm Shadow infiltrates the Pentagon. Anyway, 24. Is it not?
I thought this was from... Yeah, I don't think so. I thought this was from one of the early miniseries.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. For some reason, I had it in my head that it was when he infiltrates... Oh, yeah, I think you're right, because he infiltrates the Pentagon by being in a little robot and then pushes the lid of the robot off and knocks the guard out with spray.
Yeah,
so yeah, he didn't do anything.
We looked at this one because this is also the art that was used on the back of some of the SuperSeven stuff, I think.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. And then we've got this image, which has got a lot of people talking, Pat. We actually spoke about it a little bit before we went online. The fact that they're using Hooded Cobra Commander, do you think that is foreshadowing? And with this Cobra hack, could you see them doing a Hooded Cobra Commander retro carded figure or something?
No, I think this is just showing Storm Shadow talking to the Cobra, reporting back in. I think that's all this is meant to follow the story that they're talking about.
I just had a lot of people message me about it, and I was kind of like, I was in a similar boat. I was kind of like, yeah, maybe they just used an image and didn't really think about it very much.
Yeah, and if they had changed it to be the Cobra Commander with the helmet to keep with what their direction for Cobra Commander is, maybe people would have noticed and said, hey, why did you change that?
Yeah.
I think that it was just best for them to leave it alone and for us to not assume that we're getting any Hooded Cobra Commander anytime soon.
Cool. I'm just going to temper expectations right there. The 24 on the disc here, this is where it's shown on the disc, very likely pointing to that 24 Tampo on the Dragonfly, which we've seen. And obviously at the end of the post, he said, this new opponent appears swift and agile with significant firepower. That sounds like a helicopter to me, and ready to defend against the hiss on all fronts. That sounds like a helicopter to me. What do you think?
For sure. Yeah. It's all pointing toward the dragonfly.
There you go. Is that what do you think? Are you happy? Are you concerned? Are you angry? Are you anxious?
I don't necessarily need just a series of classified vehicles being the HasLabs. Like I don't want to just cycle through, all of the G.I. Joe vehicles and now here we have them as a HasLab. That's not that exciting to me. I don't have that much space. I definitely don't have the space that I'm going to dedicate to displaying this stuff. So it'd be a matter of opening it, checking it out, and I do imagine that they will put some really cool details and some things in it. It won't just be an upscaled dragonfly.
Right.
My big concern is the rotors. We did, I think, talk about this a little bit. A vintage dragonfly, those things start to droop, and it's kind of difficult to get them bent back into the correct shape without them breaking.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible at this point. They're so brittle. But even a new one, it could be a matter of months and they could be drooping. So my concern is looking at those rotors. Like when they start talking about this, I'm really curious to see how those are handled.
Could you see them doing rotor stands? Because they exist in real life, don't they? Because on actual some helicopters, when the rotors are out, if they're not folded up, they'll have almost like little goalposts, kind of like putting like a bit of taking the pressure off them, I think.
Yeah, I could see them doing something like that. And if they don't, I could see somebody 3D printing them, making them available to the community.
Okay, W says hang it upside down. that'll fix it. Amazing. Anyway, Viperscat says metal rotors coated in plastic. My goodness, that'd be hardcore, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like some sort of metal, like some sort of support structure on the inside, really wouldn't be a bad idea. But also maybe removable.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Like if you didn't want to display it out all the time, definitely have them fold or have them unclip so you can kind of store it a little easier. It's going to be, I mean, obviously it's going to be what, 2 rotors. It's probably not going to be more than that.
Oh no, I think that they'll make it look, they're going to want to stick to the overall look of the Dragonfly, and I don't think that having 4 on there would work.
No, so if it's got the 2 rotors, you can probably angle it so that it's at least taking up a thin space and not, the other way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. I get the concern in some of those points. Personally, all I get with this stuff is just excited, and I can't get over the excitement until way after it's actually been and gone, and that's when I can look at things with any kind of analytical eye, because I feel like, how Wolverine, when he goes feral, he just gets that red mist in front of his eyes, and then when afterwards, after he's killed 20 people, and he's like, okay, I'm better, and I'm chill out now, I can see what I've done, and now I feel awful about it. That's what I do. I'm I get this mist come across, and I'm just like,
I've kind of been aware of that. I still have a good 5 years before I ask you how you really feel about the Snake Eyes movie.
Yeah, at the time, at the time, I did enjoy it, but I was fully aware that it had shortcomings, and I've spoken about those on the show as well.
Yeah, you had every reason to be excited. There was a lot of news. There was a lot of stuff to sink your teeth into. The experience is a separate thing from the movie.
100%. And yeah, I would say that obviously there was so many issues looking back on it that make it the thing is, I watched it the other day. I enjoy it. There's an aesthetic that I quite like to it. But in terms of some massive issues, one of the main ones is the fact that you just don't really like Snake Eyes for most of it.
I was going to say the big one is that he's the bad guy.
He's literally the bad guy.
And then it's eventually gets to maybe not. and then you're supposed to be cheering for him. And
yeah, there was major issues, and the fact that a lot of the stuff that we were excited about was kind of ruined with the shaky cam and the not really seeing a lot of deleted parts that would have made for a bit better action and visual. Anyway, that's by the by. But yeah,
that's where I do think that the experience is different, because you were able to share that stuff out, really dig into it, and that aspect was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and I 100% agree with you. And of course, with that massive aspect of it failing so dramatically in the box office, that, you know, no matter what the movie's like, that's always going to be that's just going to ruin. That's going to stop loads of things happening, including the Lady J series and all the other stuff that they were planning around it. The sequels and the building the new kind of universe and stuff. And actually now, just while we're talking about it, Justin and I will be talking about another bit of breaking news regarding the rumored Transformers G.I. Joe crossover, which has just taken another twist in the tale, which we posted about on the socials yesterday. We're going to be talking about that on Monday, so you'll have to wait a couple of days for our reaction to that news. Maybe there'll be more news to talk about by then as well. Anyway, that's it, I think, for today. Bloody hell, Pat. We had a lot there. Let's hurry up into our shout out, shall we? Because we've actually got quite a lot to talk about.
Yes.
Have you tried Hoarder yet? No? Well, you need to. If you have a collection of things and want to create a fun and easy way of organising it and of course showing it off, then get involved. You can post items and build collections, and you can drop a status like getting a fun delivery or seeing some awesome related stuff on your travels. Build your collections with Hoarder. The app is free to download on Google Play and the App Store, so what are you waiting for? Get to hoarding.
Yo, shout outs, Pat, go for it.
Shout out to Philip. I'm hoping we do get something up here in the next few days. I don't have like some big crazy Sergeant Savage thing coming this month though.
Oh, that's a shame. I was hoping for another massive like Sergeant Savage deep dive.
We did dive back into Sergeant Savage, I think, during the time that I haven't been on talking about things.
I just want another one
that is out there.
There must be more. There must be more depth to get into, or have you covered everything now?
Oh no, there's still. I've been digging into Sergeant Savage for so many years that there's still some really good stuff that we didn't put. We've done 2 episodes already this year of Sergeant Savage, and there's still plenty for us to get into.
Defo. Oh, thank you very much, Peppermint Oil Capsule. 8 a.m. EST. Matt Kraken Paul joins the Slaughterhouse. Shout out to Matt Paul. Really, friend of the show. Love Matt and his amazing work. Kraken Wakes, I believe he is on a lot of pages and socials. Go check his work. He does amazing stuff for like PALITOY customs and all sorts. He's awesome. Love Matt. Thank you very much for the super chat, Peppermint Oil Capsule. Really appreciate that. Okay, shout out to the fam, to mom and dad. In the UK, and obviously all the UK family and all the US family. Big shout out to everybody, and of course to Kate and Phoebes, who aren't with me at the moment. They're at home. Love you guys very much. To Brian Sauer for our amazing graphics. He's had to again pull out the stops to get me some stuff recently. So thank you very much, Brian. Really appreciate all the amazing work you do for us. Also, My PALITOY Story, Bob Brechin, currently at with 22 days to go at $24,521 or €22,850. So I think they're at halfway now. So 22 days to go. Let's get that one done because that's what we want, guys. We want this book. It's going to be absolutely amazing. As well as that, you can actually check out the interview I've done with Bob and Brian Hickey, who is doing the design, of course. You can check out that link in the description as well. Tells you everything you need to know about the book, what to expect, all the tiers and that kind of stuff. And yeah, away you go. Link in the description to pledge as well. Get it done. I want this book so bad. Make sure it funds, please. Also, they posted the reveal of the first postcard. There's going to be a poster and postcard set
for a certain tier. So make sure you check that out as well. And of course, one of the reveal of the postcard was this beauty by Brian, where he's again, these postcards are going to be the toys that Bob basically worked on and did a lot of work for. So Star Wars obviously was a brand that he did a lot for as well. And this is another cracking shot from Brian. Man, he does some good work. I can't even. So there's going to be more of the same here for these postcards. As you can see, there's going to be 6 overall, and the poster for the front cover of the book as well. And there you go. 1 down, 5 to go. We'll be posting them on our socials as well. Also, shout out to Brian and Paddy for the soft cover Total Action Force, the Battle Years book that came in the other day with the poster. Look at that poster, Pat. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, he does so much stuff in camera too.
None of it's CGI.
Yeah, he's not adding that stuff in later. So I could just see him polishing the floor for the Imperials to walk down.
Big time. Big time. He had to rub like he's never rubbed before, and that's saying something for Brian. Shout out to you guys. Thanks so much. The soft cover is great. It's got additional content as well. So I've been really enjoying reading it all the way through again, believe it or not. I got it the first day I got it, was straight back into it. It's so good. And the art, the photography, phenomenal. Also, massive shout out to In Demand Toys for getting me all the latest wave of classified figures, which I've got to somehow find some time to unbox at some point. Probably, I've got so much to do. SuperSeven, Mezco, Diamond Selector sent me loads of stuff to unbox. My diamond shoes are too tight, and my 50s don't fit in my wallet. Right, Pat?
Yeah, you're definitely having some good, nice problems to have.
Yeah, like first world problems, that is,
yes.
Isn't it, basically? I'm not calling it a problem. It's just I've got to find time to do these. And by the way, the boxes are great. I love them. Also, Skeletron posted an update. The articulation is going to be enhanced on the 4-inch Marauder action figures. So is that something you're excited about, Pat, by the way?
I was not expecting that. But yeah, I'm really eager to get some more of this stuff in hand. Obviously, we already got that first sample of stuff from the Kickstarter.
Yeah, hopefully we'll not too long, much longer to go actually. But yeah, crazy stuff. They also posted this in their update as well. They're going to be in the next edition of Toy Collector magazine, talking about a new artist. Of course, Ken Kelly passed away last year. Horrible news, obviously. But they've been asked a lot by who's going to be doing packaging art for the remaining figures, and they're going to be revealing that artist in Toy Collector magazine, the next issue, issue 6. So grab that and you'll find out who it will be. That's where it's been revealed. Yeah, awesome stuff. So shout out to them. Also, Larry Harmer is going to be going to San Diego, and he's doing some promotion. So that's very likely going to have maybe a little tie-in with the possible new publisher for the G.I. Joe comics, Pat, would you think?
I hope so. I mean, how much longer can we wait for official word of this? I mean, he's mentioned a while ago he was working on issue 3. He's probably on to issue number 4, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. And San Diego, it makes me think of waffles that have sand on them.
Sandy,
not pleasant.
I just think of someone who's very full of themselves at the beach. They've got a sandy ego. Anyway, so Larry's going to be at San Diego Comic Con. Also related to that, Pat, just want to get like a quick brief thought on this one. Rom and the Micronauts have returned to Marvel what's collaboration with Hasbro.
Yeah.
Could you see G.I. Joe and Transformers doing a similar thing?
I could. I'm curious to see. I would like to know who initiated the ROM and Micronauts thing with Marvel. Was that Marvel going, hey, we really need to get these things out?
Yeah.
For people. Is that the start of some sort of relationship with Hasbro unable to really get Micronauts off the ground? Are they going to actually do a Micronauts thing? They kind of were left out of the Ant-Man stuff that just happened. So I don't know. I don't think that it's going to be anything that grand right now. I think that it's just getting some books out that people wanted.
Yeah, I think I'm excited to get those omnibuses of Roman and Micronauts, and also, yeah, I do wonder what that does in relation to G.I. Joe and Transformers. Obviously, we'll find out very soon, but I think it was worth definitely mentioning at least. Also, Talking Joe says Larry's working on issue 34 was the last update. So thank you for that, Mark. Appreciate that, buddy. Okay. And finally, and in sad news, Ray Stevenson passed away at a really young age of 58. And I don't think we know the cause as yet, but obviously our thoughts go out to his family and close friends, of course. Of course, Ray was magnificent as Firefly, even if the movie wasn't necessarily as magnificent. He was certainly a very fun character in that movie. What are your thoughts on that, Pat?
Same thing. People didn't really like his Punisher movie, but when you listen to all the reasons why that movie became what it was, I really enjoyed listening to that director talk about that movie. I'm not sure if it was a commentary track or an interview I was watching. That one, I gained a new appreciation for that. So I would urge people to revisit that with a different look at it, and you really can actually enjoy that one. I did think that he was good as Firefly. I still like G.I. Joe Retaliation. And of course, Volstagg. He was also Volstagg.
Yeah, he's
been a lot of things, and he's coming up in the Ahsoka series.
Tano series. Oh my god, yeah, it sucks, man. I mean, it always sucks when anyone passes away, but he's
hit so many properties in so many ways. He's a couple of Marvel characters. He's in G.I. Joe. A Star Wars character. He's in so much of the stuff that we enjoyed. Actually, he's a voice, I think, of Star Wars as well. So that's 2 Star Wars, 2 Marvels, if not more.
Yeah. I oddly not really related to him as such, but like his costume in Retaliation is really good as well. I really enjoyed that kind of design for Firefly, and obviously some cool figures as well that kind of came out off that particular character that he played in that movie. So yeah, anyway, very sad news, and like we said, rest in peace to Ray, and of course thoughts out to his family and close friends. Anyway, that's it for this one. It's been crazy, ridiculously long. Sorry, Pat, I know you've got to go to work probably. Thanks to everyone for watching. Really appreciate it. You know what to do at the end of these episodes. After 3, 1, 2, 3.
Full force.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. Now go bugger off. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.